Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he joins us now to react. Good morning to you, Senator.
Morning, Ainsley. It's good to be on with you again.
It's so good to have you here. So what is your reaction?
Well, I think it's funny that Nancy Pelosi calls this an anti-freedom court when if the justices do rule along the lines of that opinion that was scandalously leaked a couple of weeks ago, it would simply be empowering the American people to make choices for themselves about how they're going to govern themselves, as opposed to letting those choices be made by 9 unelected lawyers in Washington. I think that leak and some of Nancy Pelosi's comments, some of these protests we've seen outside of the Justice Home, though, is just in keeping with the Democrats' approach, that if they don't get their way, then they try to destroy an institution. Totally unprecedented to have an opinion leaked in the middle of deliberations. Then you have protesters outside the homes of justices in direct violation of both federal and state law. The Department of Justice is not arresting them, is not charging them with violating that law. The Democrats with whom I work in the Senate talk about eliminating the filibuster because they don't like the results in the Senate, and then they want to use that to say pack the Supreme Court, something not even Franklin Delano Roosevelt could do. So it's just in keeping with the Democrats' practices of trying to destroy institutions if those institutions don't produce the results they want, even when in reality it's simply giving choices back to the American people.
Right, it goes back to the people. They're trying to lie and say that abortion is going to be illegal. We know in Democratic states they'll probably change the rules so you can have an abortion up until the end of birth or up until birth. And in some of the southern states or more conservative states, they might roll back a little and say 15 weeks after that you can't have an abortion. But they're spreading this lie, fearful, making a lot of Americans fearful that you're not going to be able to get an abortion.
Yeah, it's the same kind of rhetoric you saw in the past few years, not just about abortion, but about other cases. Chuck Schumer, the senator here from New York, the Democratic leader in the Senate, he literally went to the steps of the Supreme Court and called out justices by name. The reason you shouldn't do that, the reason we don't have people protesting in front of the homes of judges or jurors or prosecutors is that courts are supposed to make decisions independently of political currents based on the facts and the law. And the Constitution is simple on this. It's a choice that the American people have to make through their elected representatives.
Yeah. It's been 3 years since John Durham started investigating this Russia collusion story and the elections. He's going to be in the courtroom. There's going to be a showdown today with Michael Sussman, Hillary Clinton's lawyer. What can we expect?
Well, this is a Democratic lawyer who misrepresented to the FBI who he was representing and gave them phony claims of more Russian collusion. It's just part of the broader Russian collusion hoax. John Durham has been investigating this for 3 years. I think this is a very important first step to try to get to the bottom of what was happening during the campaign and how it is that the FBI used its investigative powers to target Donald Trump's campaign.
Yeah, did they know, did the FBI know that this dossier was debunked?
Yeah, I think it's clear they did know in the campaign from testimony we've seen in the Congress and just public statements as well.
So what does that say about the FBI?
It goes to show that the senior leadership on the FBI under James Comey and in the Obama administration was willing to use false information as a pretext to target the nominee of one of our major political parties, one of the biggest scandals in American political history.
Okay. Well, we brought you on because you have a big announcement this morning. What would you like to tell the folks at home?
I'm very excited, Ainsley, to be announcing here on Fox and Friends my new book, Only the Strong. Only the Strong is about how Democrats have sabotaged American power for the last 100 years and made America weaker in the world. I first conceived this book right after the collapse of Afghanistan. So many Arkansans asked me, how could this happen? Like, where did it come from? And the point I'm making, Only the Strong, is that it's consistent with what you see with Democrats going back decades, from the Bay of Pigs to Vietnam to Mogadishu and Afghanistan. These things are not accidents, they're not bad luck, they're not misfortune of Democratic presidents. They get back to the roots of Democratic weakness. They don't believe in American power. They don't believe in American leadership in the world. This is an intentional choice by Democrats to lead our country into decline. The book also provides a roadmap of how we can restore American strength.
And we are realizing we're coming up on midterm elections. We have big primaries throughout some important states tomorrow that Americans are looking for a strong candidate. Why is that?
Well, Americans look around the world and they see nothing but disorder. They see it on the streets of America with crime. They see it every time they go to the grocery store or the gas pump. They see it around the world as well with a naked invasion by Russia of Ukraine. They see it with Iran continuing to undermine our interest and threaten Americans in the Middle East, and with China threatening Americans all around the world, undermining our jobs and our prosperity and potentially our freedom here at home. Americans have always believed in strong, confident, proud leadership in the world. Democrats don't believe in this, and Only the Strong will tell the inside story of how Democrats, going back 100 years to Woodrow Wilson, have intentionally tried to undermine American power and inside stories about my time working with the Trump administration or working against the Biden administration to try to rebuild American power.
Only the Strong. What a great title. Congratulations. Where can we buy it?
You can go online today and pre-order it. It'll be out later this fall in bookstores near you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Go
Thank you,
reserve
Ainsley.
your copy today. Thanks, Senator.